this committee is going to finalize its report by the date that has been indicated, and that the Secretariat of the National Assembly may come with a proposal. So that what the chief whips generally agree on now is that there is a extension that should be considered for them to deliver a quality report to the House. It's only the matter of the time that is still required, Madam Speaker, in terms of the current mandate of that committee, of how much time they require. And I think that the chief whips must try to find each other possibly outside of this meeting, so that when the issue of the extension is put forward, there's been proper consultation amongst them. Thank you, Honourable Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honourable Frolik. I will allow the last two speakers, and thereafter I come in and summarize what I think I am hearing here. I also hope that members are reading the charts here. I see that there is a proposal from Honourable Singh, which is that we can extend up to the 30th of September, which is a month, whereas most of the people who have spoken, FFDA have proposed a week if it is necessary, and Honourable Lakude said we should perhaps look at 2 weeks. So I want colleagues who are going to come in now to speak, to comment on those proposals, please. Honourable Nkalipi.
Speaker, there's a hand of Chief Whip of the ANC. Maybe you still want to engage on the matter?
Okay.
We are Chair Nkalipi.
I was assisting you.
Hold on there. Honourable Lakude, your hand is still up. I don't know whether you want to comment again, or you didn't take it down, maybe.
My apologies, Honorable Speaker. It's an old hand. I'm lowering it. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. Chief Whip of the Majority Party.
Thank you very much. Yes, thank you. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I want to second that this committee must finalize its report. 2 weeks is enough for the extension. No, let's extend for 2 weeks and only, so that they can consolidate the submissions and be done with. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Machotina. Honorable members, my sense is that yes, Honorable Kalipi.
Yeah, Mina, I wanted to check on the report from committee section on page 7, regards to NHI.
Okay,
yes.
Honorable Kalipi, I just want us to finalize, to round up this matter, section 25, ad hoc committee. Colleagues, what I am picking up is that everybody agrees that there may be a need for an extension, but if that extension is granted, it should be 1 to 2 weeks, except for one who has proposed up to the 30th of September. May we agree that we are granting this ad hoc committee 2 weeks to complete its work, 2 weeks if it's agreed, honorable members, but otherwise we can go on and on discussing this matter. Let's give the committee time, even though there may be people who feel strongly that the committee has now completed its work, but still, I think that let's give them an opportunity to round up everything so that when we receive a report from the ad hoc committee, then we do not encounter problems. So it's agreed, colleagues, that 2 weeks is adequate.
Agreed.
I see that there are comments on the chat as well, and everybody's agreeing. Thank you very much, colleagues. We now proceed to deal with the next issue on the committee, which is Honorable Kalipi has been wanting to raise. Honorable Kalipi.
Yes, thank you very much, Speaker. I just want to check on the progress, because here we are told about the capturing, which consists of high numbers, and we once raised this matter here, and we were assured that no, the deadline will be met. So I wanted to check on this matter, Honorable Speaker, if indeed you are going to meet the deadline in terms of this process of NHA A1.
Okay, thank you very much, Honorable Kalipi. Honorable from the Mr. Tau from the committee section, do you have a report on that?
Thank you, Madam Speaker and honorable members. On slide number 32, we show the timelines. The 15th of November has been brought forward to the 4th of October. And in short, the answer is the committee has not yet revised the date. It is still possible to reach the 4th of October as a final date to produce the report. Actually, the team is now busy with the third quarter part of the report. One quarter is still to be considered. Thanks, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much, Tate Tau. Colleagues, that's the report. It's Tate Tau is repeating exactly what is contained in the slide, slide number 32. Are you happy, Honorable Kalipi?
Thanks, Speaker. We'll monitor the progress.
Thank you very much, Honorable Kalipi. We now proceed, honorable members, to deal with the item on the bills. Who's taking us through that item?
Good morning, Honorable Speaker and honorable members. I'm Tobile from the Bills Office. On our report today, I will only report on the highlighted items. On item A number 2, the Committee on Public Service has reported on the Ease of Doing Business Bill, and it's now before the House for consideration. And on item B, we will move to line number 37, where we have a new introduction. The Agricultural Product Standards Amendment Bill was introduced, and it's B15 of 2021, a proposed Section 76 bill, and it's before the Committee on Agriculture. And on number 38, we've got the Public Administration Laws General Amendment Bill, also introduced as B16 of 2021, proposed Section 76, before the Committee on Public Service and Administration. And the last one is the second Special Appropriation Bill, and it's Bill number 17 of 2021, proposed Section 77, before the Standing Committee on Appropriations. And that's all from the Bills Office, Madam Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Kyobile. So we have 4 bills. As I mentioned earlier on, honorable members as well, that my attention has been drawn to the fact that there are bills which have not been accepted to by the President, and this is a matter which I am taking up with the Presidency. And please be patient with us on that one. I will come back to you and give you a report. Are there any comments on the report given to us by Ms. Kyobile? None. If there are none, colleagues, shall we then proceed to deal with and consider the draft parliamentary program? Mr. Tasso, will you please take us through?
Certainly, Madam Speaker. Today we're dealing with committee reports, and starting with member statements. And these are the reports of higher education, financial management of Parliament, and small business development, and international relations and cooperation. Then we'll take motions without notice and notices of motion. And then tomorrow is Women's Parliament, starting at 10 o'clock. The whippery has been briefed on the matter, and later on today, Speaker will be given additional information on the Women's Parliament. Next week, we deal with plenaries, the debate, starting with a debate on Women's Day, and then the NYDA, and the PC on Communications, and another committee, PC on Communications. Just to say, honorable members, before I move on, as agreed, we will this afternoon do the motion extending the term, and the order paper that was sent last night will be reprinted to reflect the agreement of this committee. So that will be dealt with this afternoon in the House. Okay, on the 1st of September, we'll deal with international agreements, sports and recreation, and trade and industry, as well as public works, a petition by an honorable member. All right, on the 2nd, here we deal with committee with the report of the Rules Committee. Honorable members, this is a report that deals with a mechanism for monitoring replies to parliamentary questions. So the report will serve before the House next week on Thursday. And once it is adopted, then the Speaker will be able to implement the mechanism as contained in that report. All right, we proceed to the 3rd of September. 3rd of September, we take questions to the President. And then the following week, 7th of September, member statements and report of the Standing Committee on Finance and basic education and another basic education, then motions without notice and notice of motion. Then 6th of September, questions to cluster 4, 9th. Then we take these condolence motions on the 9th, starting in the morning. Okay, let's move on. On the 14th, we do the committee reports as stated in the program. Honorable members, I guess I should not go through these reports, but as stated in the program. On the 15th of September, again, committee reports. There may be additional reports there, but members will be advised accordingly. The same with the 16th of September. Go on. And then we have bills and debate on Heritage Day. And I think it's important to indicate that questions to the Deputy President are now 22nd of September, and questions to Cluster 5 have been scheduled for the 23rd of September. Okay. Again, committee reports, motions without notice. 29th, questions to Cluster 1, and multi-women's parliament caucus on the 30th of September. And that marks the end of this term. I do need to state, Honorable Speaker and honorable members, that should the outcome of the Constitutional Court next week indicate that elections do proceed on the 27th of October, this program will have to be reviewed. And I would just like members to take into account that the issues like, let me put it this way, statutory appointments, I would recommend that they be prioritized. And also the issue of condolence motions be prioritized. So this committee will have to decide whether to end the program next week, Friday, or to end it in 14 days time so that it can take care of the business that is the week after next week, which includes the statutory appointments and the condolence motions in respect of members who have passed on. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Very much, Mr. Kaso. Colleagues, there's the program. It has been presented to us. Are there any matters honorable members would like to raise? Honorable Swart, I see your hand.
Thank you, Speaker. I just wanted to raise a concern where we have reports of portfolio committees. The context of my concern is the reports that we dealt with this past week. And I'm particularly speaking on behalf of smaller growing parties where we had portfolio committee reports on defense, police and home affairs, as well as later we had others as well were collapsed into one debate. Now the impact, Speaker, on smaller parties is that in a debate we have 3 minutes for all 3 of those reports. But if you consider declarations on each of those separately, as I had the understanding was going to take place, then we would have 3 minutes on each of those portfolio committees. And I just want to express a concern that when decisions like that are taken, that it impacts smaller parties, because it is very difficult to cover those 3 items, for example, in 3 minutes. So I just want to voice a concern when such decisions are taken going forward. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Swart. I would imagine that it's a matter which we can be seized with. Indeed, the report on Tuesday and Wednesday were quite, comprehensive. It dealt with a whole lot of issues from different departments, and I will then discuss it from our side and give you a report. That I hope you have noted that, and that shall we then invite more comments, if there are any, on the parliamentary program?
Speaker.
Honorable Mkalipi.
Speaker, yesterday in the Chiefs Forum, we received a presentation in regards to Women's Parliament. I just want to confirm when that so if they did receive our participants as EFF, as I indicated yesterday, that we are going to forward it. Thanks, Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Mkalipi. I would imagine that all parties would be interested in mobilizing for this Women's Parliament tomorrow. And I've not seen the list, obviously, but I'm sure Mr. Klasso will provide me with a list. And if your party does not appear on that list, we will then contact you, Honorable Mkalipi, to make sure that your representation is noted. Thank you very much. Are there any other matters related to the parliamentary program, honorable members?
As Madam Speaker,
Yes.
Julius.
Yes.
Madam Speaker, I just want some clarity, or maybe you send us a notice of an urgent meeting, depending on the outcome of the election date of the court hearing next week. So can we just get some clarity what might happen next week? Thank you.
Okay, I will allow Dr. Kaso to talk to that matter, but before that, let me invite Mr. Honorable Ndombela to comment. I saw your hand, Dr. Ndombela.
Sorry, Madam. Yes, sorry, Madam Speaker. Good morning, and good morning to colleagues. I'm sorry that I have to go back a little. In the presentation of the program by Mr. Kaso, he did not mention that tomorrow it's the sitting of the PGIR, and this matter was initially recognized in terms of the program. So I'm mentioning this so that members are requested to make sure that meetings of this nature are attended. And I do not know whether I missed him, but on the 10th of September also we're having the launch of the CPA, which I think is supposed to be in the program as well. I'm just highlighting this for members' knowledge. Thank you very much, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Ndombela. I don't know if you do have a copy of the program, but on the screen here, the PGIR meeting does appear on the 27th of February. However, yes, he did not talk to it, but it is on the program of Parliament. The CPA?
It's on page. It's on page 3 of the program, Madam Speaker. The list of international engagements.
Okay. Okay. Page 3. The launch of the CPA. Okay.
That's immediately after the framework.
Yes, it is the Honorable Ndombela. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much. Any other matters related to the parliamentary program, except for the matter which has been raised, which should be clarified, responded to by Mr. Kasa, which is that next week it is expected that the Constitutional Court will make a ruling on the elections. And the question was, what happens in the event that that ruling is made by the Constitutional Court, whether to postpone or not? Shall we have an opportunity to come together to discuss that matter? Mr. Kaso?
Madam Speaker, there would need to be an urgent meeting of the both Chief Whips Forum and the Program Committee. My sense, Madam Speaker, as I intimated earlier, is that the House may wish at least to conclude statutory only in November, effectively. So structures, the House may.
We couldn't hear that. We couldn't hear you, Mr. Carson.
Oh, can you hear me now,
Mr.
sir?
Kasa?
Hello, ma'am.
Yes, would you please just repeat what you just
I was saying, ma'am, that I would recommend that the House should prioritize statutory appointments, in which case I would propose, but that is subject to structures, that if the elections are taking place on the 27th of October, the House sits until the end of the week after next week, so that it concludes statutory appointments and the condolence motions of members. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kasa. In other words, next week we would have to have a meeting of the Chief Whips Forum and the NAPC and discuss the implications of whatever ruling will come out of the CC. Please let us all note that, colleagues. Thank you very much. Now, announcements. Mr. Kaso, are there any announcements you wish to make?
Madam Speaker, I have no announcement except to say that, honorable members, information regarding the Women's Parliament will be communicated. We'll make sure that all the issues raised here are communicated today still, and preferably before 2 o'clock. And members are welcome to call me should they need further clarification on issues. But that's the main issue, ma'am, that I would like to state about that the Women's Parliament is a matter that needs to be communicated to members. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kaso. It seems that is the only matter Mr. Kaso would have wanted to raise with us. Are there any other matters? It seems none. I'm looking at the time, and the time is 20 to 10. And at 10 o'clock, all of us will be expected to attend our caucus meetings. Any other matters, colleagues? None. Colleagues, thank you very much. We've had a good meeting, and we will meet probably next week, depending on the outcome of the Constitutional Court. If there's no need, then we will not meet. But you will hear from the office of the Secretary of the NA. Thank you very much, honorable members. Thank you. Meeting is adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, sis. Thank you.
Thank you.